The more I hear about Russian propaganda and the advice the Russian propaganda machine, the Putin propaganda machine, is giving to the trolls who are then delegated to comment on YouTube, on Instagram, on various forms of social media, and of course to give interviews and to encourage action on the streets, the more I'm convinced that actually the explosion on the Crimean Bridge was a false flag. However much it may be desired by Ukraine, however much it may be celebrated by Ukraine, it was a false flag to enable Putin to retaliate, to rain down the missiles which had been promised before Putin annexed Crimea. So, for example, among the range of extraordinary things which are being encouraged by these trolls is that President Donald Trump and John Kirby are encouraging the West to pull back from supporting Kyiv, from supporting President Zelensky. That Germany is running out of weapons to supply, and that NATO is effectively being demilitarized by Russia. I think it's probably the other way around. And that Ukrainians are starting themselves to run out, that there are increasingly less Ukrainians available to fight. Again, I think it's probably the other way around. But these are the stories which are going out. And at the same time, there's a fascinating story that Putin's regime is planning an opinion poll to ask the society what it thinks about the Crimean Bridge explosion. And one of the questions is going to be their attitudes to Ukraine and Russian attitudes to President Zelensky. And of course, I fully imagine this will be a fairly fixed poll. The responses will be fairly fixed. But it will be interesting. It will be interesting. So all of this, and it is extraordinary that a truck with an elderly driver in it is blamed for the explosion when it seems highly unlikely. It seems almost impossible that it could be caused by a truck bomb. And we've had on here somebody telling me that that I shouldn't be supporting Ukraine because they are using the same weapons as the IRA. Not at all, not at all. The bombing of the bridge was something quite different and something fairly inexplicable. It looks like a job which was done specifically by Russia to promote a particular point of view.